Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and we're back once again with the Dell Inspiron 518. This is a computer I did a video about a few months ago. It's got a Core 2 Quad Q9550, 8 gigs of RAM, now has a 250 gig hard drive instead of a 120 gig SSD. And this computer, up until today, was sitting under the workbench collecting dust. I temporarily put it aside because I replaced it with this Dell Optiplex 3010. This is a Intel Core i5-3470 system, Ivy Bridge era. Bought this computer at Goodwill for about 25 bucks a few months ago. Works beautifully. It's currently triple booted with Windows XP, Windows 7, and Kubuntu. So yeah, believe it or not, this computer from 2013 with a Core i5-3470 is running Windows XP. I was able to accomplish this thanks to the easy-to-boot USB system, which had the AHCI drivers for Windows XP during the setup process. And I was able to get the rest of the drivers thanks to Snappy Driver Installer. And believe it or not, Windows XP runs beautifully on here. However, I've kind of been wanting to go back to a more traditional setup for Windows XP, something a little bit more era appropriate, so I brought this back out, mainly because it has a NVIDIA GT620 in it for video, and a Creative X-Fi sound card that I salvaged from that old Dell XPS 720 you may remember from last year. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to install a fresh copy of Windows XP Professional on here and set up the drivers and a few other little things. And these two computers, by the way, are KVM together. So let's get started. Okay, currently have it in the BIOS right now for no real reason. So we'll just go ahead and exit, and before I do, I'm going to plug my easy-to-boot drive up to this. This is a flash drive that has images of Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, and Ubuntu and Kubuntu and other little doodads on there. So I'll go ahead and plug it into the USB port down here, if I can find where it is. Odd angle. Okay, it's in, so we'll quit without saving, and let's smash that F12 key to get to the boot menu. There we go, that's good enough. Yeah, this computer originally had some sort of a Core 2 Duo in it. I don't remember exactly. I wasn't sure if the Q9550 would be supported by this system, but apparently it is. It may be unofficially supported, but it works just fine in here. So let's boot to the USB. Forgive the pit bulls next door barking. Windows install menu. Phil's Computer Lab, I believe that's the guy, has a really good video about the easy-to-boot drives. So check that out when you get a chance if you want to see more about this. So we'll do install XP. I've got several different ISOs on here. Let's go with number 4, which is Professional Unofficial Service Pack 4. So it's going to load a few things, and we do want it to detect the AHCI drivers. I don't know why all the dogs in the neighborhood chose to do all their barking right now when I'm when I'm videoing, and it's going to load the XP ISO into memory. It recommends doing it, so why not do that? So it might take a while to load the 1009 megabyte ISO image, so we'll give it a moment, and I turn the lights off in the room just to get rid of the glare on the screen so you can see things better. Okay, booting into XP now from RAM. I guess it made some kind of a RAM drive of some sort. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But look how fast it loaded those drivers. Normally if you boot from a CD, that takes about a minute or two, but this just took probably less than a second. So very, very impressive booting there. Okay, looks like we already have a partition on this drive. I'm not sure what it is. This is just a random Seagate hard drive that I had lying around. I don't know what it was used for before, so we'll go ahead and just delete the partition. Format NTFS quick. That shouldn't take too long. Yeah, this ISO that I'm using is XP Professional, but with the unofficial Service Pack 4 slipstreamed into it. Just search for Windows XP Unofficial Service Pack 4 on Google and you'll find all the information you need. This is something I highly recommend using on newer XP systems like this one. Also gives you the registry hack that allows the POS Ready 2009 updates to be installed, but that went out of support this year, so that's not any good anymore, but it will get you up to date as late as the early part of 2019, as far as I know. And I've said this before in almost every XP video I make, and I'll say it again, Windows XP still does not feel all that old to me for some reason. I guess because I used it for such a long time as my main OS, and it just kind of became part of my blood. If you can call it that. That's a little bit creepy, to be honest, but it's kind of true. So to me, Windows XP was really the first of the modern versions of Windows. So that's kind of where that timeline kind of starts for me. But that's just how it is for me personally. I can't believe I've talked through almost this whole thing. But we're almost done. There we go. Not only is XP out of support now, but in a few months... Oh, and I need to plug the... Yeah, sometimes the fan likes to kick up speed. Not only is XP out of support, but starting in a few months in January 2020, Windows 7 will no longer be in support, which really makes me sad. I'm one of the few people out there right now that still likes using Windows 10. I've personally never had any real issues with it over the years, even with the current updates they've come out with. But Windows 7, it was simple, modern, powerful, and got the job done, and you could always depend on it. So I'm going to be sad to see it go. Yeah, I was afraid of that. It's going to want to get files off of a off of an ISO that it can't access, so I'm going to have to let it error out and boot back into easy to boot. And let it load the second portion of XP setup from the USB. This can happen sometimes on this, but real simple fix, as you're seeing right now. So we'll go back to Windows, and we want to go to install XP Step 2 on 512 meg and up systems. And we need to choose Professional SP4 again. And we gotta wait for this again. Okay, it shouldn't have any issues this time around. Yeah, sometimes the fan, after a reboot, likes to run at full blast. So apologies for that. Alright. Alright, looks like it's okie dokie now. Can't believe I just said okie dokie on camera. Why am I a fool? So this is the all too familiar Windows XP setup screen that we all know and love. So I will pause for now until something more interesting happens. Okay, we're at the user info screen now, so I'll put in my name, Billy Core, company, let's see, this is a very junk keyboard that I'm using, but it's the only keyboard I have right now available that's small enough to fit right here. So I gotta live with it for now. So Dell 518, we'll call it by that name on the network. And I'm in the Eastern time zone. Clock looks okay. And we'll let it install the network, which I shouldn't get any prompts right here. I didn't think so. No old enough network card in there for it to automatically detect, and no FireWire on this system, at least for now. So I'll pause once again until something interesting happens. Okay, we're rebooting for the final time now. Looks like setup is finished. Just gotta tie up a few loose ends. I know this screen quite well. Okay. Yeah, wasn't much of an adjustment there. It never is. Sadly, I can already guarantee you we're not going to get the startup music, because this is a fancy creative Xfi sound card. That ain't going to happen. Thankfully, I still have the driver's CD for this sound card, which is good because the drivers for this sound card are extremely hard to find for some reason. So we'll go ahead and burn through this. Go. There we go. Next thing we need to do once we're at the desktop is put some drivers on here. I'll grab my flash drive with that. I'm going to do like I usually do on these systems, use Snappy Driver Installer. I highly recommend getting a copy of that if you can. It helps you find even the most obscure drivers you can imagine, and I like that. Although it doesn't work well with the Xfi card, so that's why I'm glad I have the CD for that. Okay, it wants to remove the driver for the easy to boot drive, and we'll tell it yes because I told it no one time and I got a blue screen of death upon opening my computer. So we'll go ahead and unplug that and plug in our other flash drive to get to Snappy Driver. It's hard to do this in the dark. Go. That's smooth sailing so far, for the most part. Let's go ahead and install the flash drive. It'll probably do an autoplay kind of deal. Okay, it's going to install something else. Go straight to this. We'll find my SDI folder. And we'll just copy it to the desktop. This also has a bunch of built-in network drivers, which is good because it can go ahead and install the network driver, and then once it has internet access, it can download the rest of the drivers for the computer. Almost there. Okay, go ahead and unplug the flash drive. Yeah, I know I never unplug these safely, but I've never had any kind of tragedy unfold upon doing that. Okay, we'll tell it to unblock it, and we'll go ahead and install the network driver first, which is a Realtek adapter. There we go. Okay, I don't think the Ethernet cable's in all the way. Check my connections. There we go. Yeah, one of the ends of the Ethernet cable is missing the clip. As a matter of fact, most of my Ethernet cables around here are missing a clip. So we'll tell it to update the index, which will take a couple of minutes. Okay, we can go ahead and select the drivers we want downloaded. That's something for the chipset. Don't want the Creative X-Fi driver on here because I've used it from SDI before and it does not work properly. So we'll take the NVIDIA high definition audio. I think that's for the HDMI output. Video driver, some more chipset stuff. We'll take all that. There's a lot of it. Don't have a Wacom device on here. I don't know what it thinks that is. And Logitech unifying USB receiver. I think that's for the keyboard. I think I'll skip that. Okay. It's got to download a gig and a half of data, so we'll have to wait patiently for that. Okay, it downloaded and installed all the drivers off camera, at least the ones that we chose. So we'll go ahead and give it a restart. Okay, we've got a much higher resolution now, so it looks like we've got a working video card. So that's definitely a good sign. I think all we really need to install now is the sound card driver. Let's just check device manager first, see if everything else is accounted for. Make sure Snappy Driver did its job right. And it's like all it's missing is the sound card. And thank goodness I've got the CD, because they are as rare as hen's teeth. In fact, I'll probably image this CD and put it on my archive.org account in case other people need the driver for this. I'll turn the lights back on just so you can see what the CD looks like. Here it is. This is a Dell OEM CD. So go ahead and pop it in to the DVD drive. Apparently this also works on Windows 2000. But this is XP. Sorry, guys. Okay. That's not doing us much good without a sound driver. Welcome. Take full advantage of your creative product by installing and using this software. Don't mind if I do. I speak English. We'll go ahead and give it both. So this might take a few minutes. I believe this CD had a copyright date of 2006. The computer this came in was built in early 2008. Let's see, what all do we want here? Oh, we get a lot of stuff. And we'll take the smart recorder and the volume panel and the Wave Studio. Pretty much everything except the karaoke player, because I do not do karaoke. I'm not that kind of guy. And we've got a 2-speaker setup on this sound bar on the monitor. The speakers that came with this sound card originally were a lot fancier than this. But I didn't get those. And we'll do entertainment mode for now. Okay, we'll give that a few minutes. Okay, now it's wanting to install Creative Media Source. We will let it do that. Just give it everything. I think it's mostly just a media player or media center type thing. Okay, looks like we're done installing. It's... oh, I think I just heard sound. So yeah, we'll go ahead and restart. Now I heard the XP shutdown sound. So it sounds like we've got working sound. Alright. That was very easy. Okay, welcome to Speaker Connection Wizard. You can configure your speakers quickly and easily. Select the audio device that you want to configure, SBXFi, using an analog connection, 2 speakers, and we'll test.
Left channel, right channel.
Let me turn that up a little bit so you can hear it.
Left channel, right channel.
Sounded good to me. Alright. What in the world is this? That was pretty cool. Don't want it to play all the time though when I turn the computer on, but cool nonetheless. Let's see what Device Manager looks like now. Looks good. And before we conclude this video, let's do a quick little MIDI test. See what we can listen to. Let's listen to the famous one-stop MIDI. After I configure Windows Media Player, of course. Okay. No store. Okay, I think we got the point. So yeah, that's Windows XP successfully installed all the drivers. And now, after I conclude this video, I'll be installing all my programs and games on here. So, we'll go ahead and end this video right now. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too boring. But look forward to much more stuff coming along on this channel in the future. Until next time, this is Billy Core signing off. Thank you for visiting the Nostalgia Mall. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like. The link to all of these are down below. Until next time, this is Billy Core signing off.